An interesting case here in Washington, D.C. Two people who were supposed to be helping solve crimes and protect against crimes were accused in a crime themselves. In this case, accused of taking money from romance scams around the country.
Meet Lassen Moore messaging you on LinkedIn and other sites, a civil engineer from London working on a big construction project in Poland. A woman says he started an online romance with her, then told her his work equipment broke down and he needed to borrow money to finish. He begged her to send a payment to the account of a man named Isidore Iwagwu in Maryland who would provide him with replacement parts. But these pictures of Lassen Moore are really João Baião, a Portuguese TV personality.
Não, mas eu nunca experimentei.
The Poland project, a fake. And now Isidore Iwagwu in Maryland has been accused of collecting money for romance scammers overseas. The twist here, Iwagwu was at the time a special agent with the U.S. Marshal's office in D.C., deputized, able to carry a gun and make arrests like D.C. police. He was also a contractor with the U.S. Department of Justice for years, and while he was protecting critical DOJ facilities, he also took in more than $500,000 in scam money, often from senior citizens, according to the federal complaint against him. Here's how it worked, according to investigators. Scammers would contact people online and trick them into romance, often pretending to be U.S. military personnel stationed in the Middle East. They would come up with reasons for payment and ask the victims to send money to Iwagwu, saying, for example, that he was a military commander who would help the soldier get out of the armed forces and come home sooner. Court documents show images of things like victim checks made out to Iwagwu, victim messages confirming they had wired him the money, and receipts showing the money arriving in his accounts. Investigators say he was not the romancer himself, but a funds collector, gathering money from victims and sending it to the scammers in other countries. He's pleaded guilty now to one count of money laundering. At work, a security expert. At home, a criminal, leaving victims to wonder if the pull of money was stronger than the desire to protect. Scammers also posed as a real man, Sergeant Major Jose Velasquez, using his pictures to trick people out of money. Investigators say one of the criminals stealing his name told a victim in San Diego that he was serving in Iraq and could not access his bank account due to rebel activity. The victim eventually sent him $8,000 that she thought was going to the U.S. Army. But that money, documents say, went into a bank account owned by this man, Charles Agunjobi. The twist here, Agunjobi is a tax auditor, not for the federal government, but for the District of Columbia. And the Department of Justice says he himself helped with criminal investigations as part of his job. Prosecutors do not say he was the one who contacted victims online, but instead they say he took in a victim's money and worked with Iwagwu in processing funds from other victims. He's charged with operation of an unlicensed money transmitting business, and his case is still going through the court process. He's on leave from his job, according to news reports. The U.S. Attorney's Office says Iwagwu is in custody and facing sentencing in April.
This is not the only case of its kind. There are several others that have already gone through the courts and are currently going through the courts where people in the U.S. are working with people outside the country to earn money through these kinds of crimes. In Washington, D.C., I'm Carrie Tomlinson for Ampere News.